What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, all in between? Pat, my brother, how are you?
What's happening? We're back.
Not much, man. Welcome and welcome back. And we are CretiVity Speaks, Ronnie James Dio, album by album. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you. I know we had a little month hiatus there, and yeah, we're back. We're back.
It's all
We're back
good.
at it. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, so this is an interesting one for me. One, I'm not a fan of Black Sabbath with Ozzy.
Okay.
I just don't care for Black Sabbath and people. I don't like Zeppelin either.
Right.
I like 10 songs that Zeppelin did. Everything other than that seems boring to me.
Sure.
Early Sabbath was just, I like things that sound good. It's just too
Yeah.
muddy, and
Right.
it's not my thing. I
Yeah.
get why people like it.
Sure.
I was listening to Purple, same family, just 2 doors down.
2 doors down.
And it's weird because with Sabbath and Deep Purple
Right.
and Rainbow, like all those guys kinda,
Yeah.
mixed
Notice that, right? Exactly.
But
Yeah, White Snake too.
yeah. So okay. So Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. Where is it? No, that's Rising.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
Richie Blackmore's
Yep.
Rainbow.
Rainbow.
Produced by Blackmore and Ronnie James Dio. Now, we could have done a whole other episode with the stuff that he did before this.
Alf and all that. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Doo-wop stuff. But I think starting here was really good.
Yeah. Okay. So Richie Blackmore, I always thought I never thought he was the guitar god that everyone.
No. Yeah. And
I like this stuff, but
I'm surprised that this was supposed to be like a solo album, right? Really what it was?
yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And then basically he was recording with Ronnie James Dio and all the other members from Elf.
Right.
And so it's not very cohesive, this album.
No, it's not.
And and to be fair, at the time, people didn't know how to record this type of music. They were they were recording chamber music and orchestration and everything else. So it's not like every drum is mic'd, every cymbal's mic'd. There's a lot of mud going on, all the effects, everything is rudimentary, and
sure.
So but with that, great opening song of the album, and my favorite song from Rainbow with Ronnie is definitely Man on the Silver Mountain.
Oh yeah, that one's right off the bat.
Yeah, and it does beckon the Deep Purple legacy right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear it in that one for sure. Then we have Self-Portrait. Dio seemed to be holding back on this song for some reason. Strong bass lines because Ronnie wrote them.
Right. I was not a fan of this song though.
Yeah, sound more like their own thing than a Deep Purple derivative.
Right.
And I'm not, this is constructive criticism for all you fans out there who love these guys. We have high standards. When Dio does an okay song, it's a really great song for anybody else.
Right, exactly.
But number 3, Black Sheep of the Family, which is a Quartermass cover written by Steve Hammond. The intro sounds more like a rock song, man.
Right.
Like with a mix of what Meatloaf would become in the early days. It's got the piano and then ding 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 ding.
The piano, yeah.
Ronnie is starting to get his signature vocal runs on Black Sheep of the Family. Deep Purple had rejected the song when he wanted to do Black Sheep of the Family.
With Deep Purple,
he saved it for this, but anyway, Catch the Rainbow.
It was okay.
Skittles.
Yeah, it was okay. Catch the Rainbow.
Snake Charmer, rolling bass lines, and some funky guitar shuffle. They seem to be finding their way here.
I like this tune.
Yeah, and Ronnie is writing across the riff,
right,
rather than running like a vocal line right along with the guitar.
He's
going across, which is what Black Sabbath liked about him. Okay, The Temple of the King. Ronnie's storytelling is heading to where he would land in Sabbath and onto the Dio band. Very subdued background vocals here. Dig the mandolin. Again, has a bit of a country feel to it, although it's darker.
A little bit.
It reminds me of a few other story songs.
It was not a standout for me, though.
From the time period. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed like they just, Then we have If You Don't Like Rock and Roll. Straight up 50s rocker, beckoning back to Ronnie's early days pre-Elf. Again, reminds me of what Meatloaf would become. There's that Meatloaf sound in there, which at the time, what would you call that? Progressive?
I guess. I mean, yeah. But these guys were pioneers at this, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're finding their own way, and they're trying to see what sticks,
Sure.
If everyone's doing blues, why wouldn't you try another genre to see?
Right. And again, if this was supposed to be a solo album, he was probably just throwing all kinds of stuff at the wall and just using old riffs, things that didn't work with, Deep Purple, like you were saying, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna bring these here. I've done that before, where songs that didn't work with a certain band, I threw out my solo album, or I just did something different with it. That's just kind of that's how this whole album kind of was perceived to me,
Okay, then we have 16th Century Greensleeves.
I dug that one.
Yeah, Deep Purple type of riff.
Yep.
Ronnie singing to the riff on this one rather than against it. Ronnie's vocals here are heading to where he would rest and what would become the Dio vocal pocket.
Okay, I see that.
Like he's finding his home.
Yeah.
Performance-wise.
Right.
Still I'm Sad.
I thought that was a great jam.
Yeah, it says most upbeat song on the album. Great instrumental jam, and that was a Yardbirds cover.
Yeah, I thought it was a great jam.
But
yeah, I mean, for me, like my standouts were Man on a Silver Mountain, Snake Charmer, 16th Century, Greensleeves, excuse me, and Still I'm Sad. Those were my standouts on the album.
Yeah, mine's Man on the Silver Mountain, and let's see, what was the other one where he's becoming the pocket? Number 8, 16th Century Greensleeves.
Yeah, I mean, great tunes.
Then
not a bad album overall, but
yeah. And then we go to Rising.
Yes, I dig the album cover.
Right.
It's kind of foreshadowing some Dio.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there really is.
You got the mountain. Dio's
a rainbow in the dark. Maybe
Dio's fingers on the right and the left will only go up once he releases the rainbow.
Right. I like that.
Okay, so now we have Rising, produced by Martin Birch.
Yep.
Who's produced a bunch of stuff. Priest and some other guys. 1976. Richie bails on the rest of the band, but retains Ronnie James Dio.
Yep.
And adds Cozy Powell on drums.
Yep.
And Jimmy Bain and then Tony Carey on keys.
Yeah, very interesting.
I don't remember Cozy Powell being in Sabbath, dude.
No. Very interesting how all these moving pieces and people just kind of moving back. It's kind of funny because I don't know about you, just me in general, and I've always had this, I don't know, just I'm stuck on, hey, a band should be like those members are the like Motley Crue, changing a member here and there. It's not Motley Crue. Like Queensryche, it's not. But obviously with Queensryche, we've seen
right.
But when it's been going on for decades, obviously, right? People are just kind of interchanging and different things are happening. So it's interesting, but it's also interesting because you see them progressing on this album also.
Right.
Because now they're more of a band than a solo album for Blackmore, right?
Right. And you have a seasoned studio guy with Cozy Powell in there.
Sure.
And the whole sound of the band, because it's a whole different band, of course.
Oh, it's a whole different band now, right?
Yeah. And it changes again.
Yep.
Terra Woman is track number 1. It's got kind of a sci-fi kind of organ keys opener, different sound right from
notes next to it, so probably.
What's that?
Yeah. Right. I said I don't have any notes next to it, so it probably didn't really stick out to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Different sound right from the get-go. Band seems more together. Ronnie seems more confident, and the songwriting is a level above the mostly disjointed previous album. Dio is becoming his own in this song, and it's very apparent.
Okay.
You know, so for him, it was like working out, you know.
Right.
Then Run with the Wolf, which is one of my favorite tunes.
Same. I dug it. Great guitar solo on this one.
Yeah. A hint of Deep Purple, rolling rhythms. Blackmore is known for. Dio is definitely more operatic, almost Broadway in a sense, in this song, as it almost could be affected by the movie version of Hair. Like that must have been in like the zeitgeist at the time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's not a dig. You know what I mean?
Right.
Totally not. But then we have Starstruck.
Starstruck, yeah, that was decent. I don't have a lot of notes next to it, but I just put decent tune.
Yeah, Middle Ages type of beginning riff, kind of a Black Knight vibe in it from Deep Purple.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah,
Black Knight's one of my favorite Deep Purple tunes.
All right.
Ronnie and the band are in a rhythm pocket that's stands this song apart from all previous attempts on the record. Rainbow is finding itself within this album.
I definitely agree there.
Yeah. Like it's not a project, it's a band. Sure.
It's a band now, right? It's not just a solo project, right?
Yeah. 4, Do You Close Your Eyes? Opener sounds like Whitesnake took Slow and Easy from the song. Well, you know why? Cozy Powell played on that fucking album too.
Yes, sir.
So he's like, hey, so that classic Whitesnake drum beat is from
Rainbow. Yep.
But let's see. They solidifying their sound and seeming very cohesive on this album. Breaks are being introduced and broader riffs. I always like breaks in a tune.
Yeah.
You know, and also Richie is living in a different part of the guitar neck on this song.
Yeah.
He's higher than normal.
Yeah. He's experimenting with different riffs.
Yeah, which was nice to hear, because sometimes things just sound repetitive, because we've heard
you've heard it over and over, right? Of course. Yeah.
Then Stargazer, drum jam opener to this classic tune, a Ronnie staple for good reason.
Yeah, I just thought it was a good tune, but to me it just was a bit long.
Yeah, it's almost like Dio was born totally in this song. Classic notes and octave work from him, but he's, as it goes on, like in the next album, I'll get into it more. You can feel that Ronnie wants to be in charge and he's getting antsy because they're not listening to his like vision,
right?
That's the first one is produced by Dio and Richie. This one, none of them produced it,
right?
And Blackmore already being problematic and emotional like he is, or that we've heard of, it makes it at the time. Drugs are flying, the whole nine.
Right, exactly.
But okay, so then we have A Light in the Black. Seems Motley Crue was listening to the song when they wrote Use It or Lose It.
Yeah, this is a great jam.
Because it was lifted right from this song.
Yeah, there was some stuff I didn't like in the song, just kind of, but great jam though.
Yeah, it says, Ronnie crushes this song is out front and center. Maybe it took them a while to see the power dynamic, which would lead to Ronnie recording one more album with Rainbow. But my favorites are Run with the Wolf and Stargazer on this album.
Yeah, for me, same thing. Run with the Wolf and Stargazer were my favorites. Yeah, but I still don't really hear. I hear more Dio on Man of the Silver Mountain, like that song.
Right.
It almost sounded out of place on that first album.
Right. Probably because they must have recorded it last.
They must have, yeah.
The first one they recorded was something like goofy.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Because it sounds like it more should be on Rising, but when you moving on now to, Long Live Rock and Roll, that to me is where I start to hear Dio become Dio on this album.
Yeah.
His voice has more grit. It's got more of that, what we've come to know with Dio, right? That to me on this album.
Yeah. Yeah. He projects. He knows how to project and send it out there.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's like he's always been a very Broadway kind of, and I don't mean this, whatever people
no, right.
But he's a, stage performer, but he's theatrical.
Sure.
And he made up for his height discrepancy that, with his, amazing voice. But Long Live Rock and Roll, produced by Martin Birch. Long Live Rock and Roll, my favorite Rainbow song with Ronnie, and my favorite Rainbow album. So Ronnie is now a fully formed hard rock vocalist with his own definitive style. The world embraces Rainbow at this point. They have a cemented style.
Yeah.
They walked in with the third album knowing what they had to do, what they needed to do, and how they were going to do it.
Yeah. I am surprised that Dio actually did this album with them, because the first two albums, you can, like you said, you can hear Ronnie's kind of like,
he didn't have the confidence.
Right. And he had a vision, and these guys were not following that vision. But
And like, as much of a rock fan I never heard of Elf until the 90s.
No, me either. Right.
Until they're doing a thing. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So and Richie Blackmore was Richie Blackmore.
Right.
So he probably felt, or whatever. And who knows what the contract was.
Right. Right.
But the bass parts on this album are also played by Blackmore.
Right. Yeah. Blackmore did everything.
Maybe that's why the guitar and the, bass are tighter than the last few. Lady the Lake, another opening drum sound taken by Whitesnake or its producer with Cozy playing. Keys are overpowering the vocal and the guitar.
I see that. I mean, it's a cool riff, and it's a good solid song, but keys were kind of overpowering.
The LA Connection, a prowler of a song.
Yeah.
You can already see that Ronnie is not long for this band.
Yeah.
Like you can feel his as we used to call my family, being antsy.
Yeah. Good riff, though. I think a really solid riff on this song.
And the lyrics,
obviously, being a guitar player, I focus a lot on that.
That's what I figured. Like, I don't have to really pay attention to the solos, because that's your land. You know what I mean? And you'll be able to explain that stuff better than me. But the lyrics are very telling here, that he was thinking about bailing due to the LA connection.
Right.
Now, so like he's in a unique place. So he's, he starts a band with one of the biggest rock stars of the time. It's going down. And how many people maybe Clapton had a second band, Jimmy Page, but those are exceptions to the rule.
Right.
So it had to be a really weird kind of time for him, thinking about jumping ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Gates of Babylon, I got nothing.
Gates of Babylon, I put psychedelic, That's my note, psychedelic, It was just a little weird for me. That's all. Right. I mean, not saying it can't be for somebody else. Very psychedelic for me.
Right, but that's, and this goes back to, this is at a time where people could experiment on an album.
Sure. Yeah.
And that was an experimental time.
It was experimental.
Kill the King, a stellar rocker.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Great cymbal holds and stops on this.
Yeah, very cool. Very fast, very Dio, as my notes say. Because it was fast, heavy, and just had that vibe that it could be on a Dio album.
You know why it sounded like very Dio?
He wrote it.
Out how to back him up vocally.
Right.
Because up until this song, it wasn't there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because his voice is totally different from the time.
Oh, sure.
It wasn't melodic. It was, he had his own thing. It was totally different. You know? Ronnie is also focusing now on the vowels in his singing. So any classic Dio song, put it up. and every note you like is either an ah or a.
Yep.
You know, like it's all you know. Sinatra was the same way. He sung on the vowel. He helped a lot of people sing on the consonant.
Yeah.
You know, like for instance, Michael Sweet sings on the consonant, not the vowel.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so
good lesson for all you vocalists out there.
But yeah, it says that following what Sinatra did, that set him apart.
Yeah, definitely.
The Shed, subtle.
You know what the Shed? You know what my note says?
What's
sounds
that?
like a Kiss riff. Sounds like Kiss to me.
As reminiscent of "I Want You" by the Beatles in the opening guitar play.
Okay.
You can tell Richie is missing the Deep Purple thing. Vocals start almost 1.5 minutes in.
I know
vocal delivery is really good.
Yeah.
And his phrasing is now locked in.
Yeah.
Like he's got what he
right.
He's got his toolbox, dude. He's got his overalls on, his work boots, and he's ready to walk off the job site. You know what I mean? And Sensitive to Light, I got nothing.
I said too boogie woogie sounding for me and for Dio, but you still hear Ronnie's voice evolving in this song, but it was just too boogie woogie for me.
Gotcha. Then Rainbow Eyes. There's a lot of song titles with Rainbow and Night.
Yeah. I thought it was a great intro. Tone of the guitar when Dio starts to sing, I felt like I was at the Renaissance Fair. But I like the Renaissance Fair, so really, it shows Ronnie James Dio has a beautiful voice, right?
Yeah,
that to me, right?
Of course.
You know, but also too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I was waiting for like the guitars to kick in. I was waiting for like something. I'm like, where is it? It just never came. But again, Ronnie's voice is beautiful in this song.
Yeah.
It was very Renaissance Fair. You know, it was very, you know, like I was watching Robin Hood or something. But again, I was waiting for I'm like, something's coming. And it just, you know, like they missed the train on that one.
Yeah, I have a swampy blues start that rolls into a haunting melody.
Yeah.
A ballad complete with a flute.
Yeah. That's the Renaissance Fair.
And then my final note is never understood finishing an album with a slow tune kills any momentum.
I know.
That should have been like, you know, song 2, side 2.
Somewhere in the middle. Yeah, right. I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't get that. Yeah, so my favorite is Lady of the Lake.
That was for them. And what a way for him to go out on okay. My favorite on this one. Let's see. Yeah, Lady of the Lake. Killing the King. I think, well, you know, Rainbow Eyes are
that was a good rocking tune.
Yeah. But that's, you know, it wasn't a great album by any means.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was there's a couple good songs, you know, and I could see Ronnie James Dio starting to kind of come into himself there, but yeah, I just didn't I won't go back and listen to that whole album again.
Right.
Unfortunately, I won't. So, but it's all right.
Well, hey, you know.
That's all. To each his own. People out there love it. Hey, you know, it's cool. There's good songs on there. Like I said, Richie Black, great guitar player. By no means like a Van Halen or somebody like Clapton or whatever, but you know, hey, he had the name to go out there and do this, and you know, he brought us Dio, man.
Yeah, I mean, I like a couple of these tunes from Rainbow or some of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah, great tunes.
The rest of it's, you know.
Yeah.
But back then, people were also putting out an album every 6 months, every 8 months, going on the road, building up. I mean, you know, there's 5 years of touring now behind Ronnie.
Yep.
On a major way.
Right.
And then he gets asked to join the band of all bands.
Yep.
Black Sabbath. And they had already been working on this album in LA for 11 months before they fired Ozzy.
So Ozzy worked on this. Is there vocal tracks with Ozzy on these songs probably somewhere?
They said it was such a they never mentioned it.
Yeah.
maybe they couldn't even come up with lyrics.
Huh,
I mean,
yeah.
Ozzy, everyone was in like the worst shape of their life when
Yeah.
But yeah, all music written and arranged by Geezer Butler, Ronnie James Dio, Tony Iommi, and Bill Ward. Lyrics by Dio.
Oh yeah, so there was nothing. There can't be if Dio wrote everything. Yeah.
Produced by Martin Birch at Criteria Studios in Miami, Florida.
There you go.
Which I've done session work at.
Nice.
Absolutely. Okay, so Neon Lights.
What a way to come back from Ozzy, right?
Right. Now, what are your thoughts on Black Sabbath as a whole?
So I was not, and people might shoot me for this. I was never a huge Sabbath fan. You know, I was never even really a huge Ozzy fan. I do like Ozzy.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. After, I'm gonna probably say after Jakey Lee was gone, and I think he brought in Zakk Wylde. I think Zakk Wylde's a great guitar player. But I think the material just started kind of lacking. There's some good songs here and there, Mr. Tinker Train, you know, there's some songs off some great albums, great songs, don't get me wrong.
Perry Mason.
There's some great songs, man, that I'll always say, hey, wow. But I mean, I think I just stopped buying albums at that point by Ozzy.
Yeah, but and what else would okay, now we're getting into the time when there's 17 tracks on an album, and most
and it was just a lot of filler.
You needed the one for MTV. You only needed the one.
You needed the one, right? But I just can't, you know. I think Ozzy did a lot better after Sabbath than he did with Sabbath.
Oh, for sure.
My personal opinion, right? But I was never a huge Black Sabbath fan. Plus, when Black Sabbath was huge and popular, I wasn't really listening to that. So I was turned on to Sabbath way later, you know. So and then Heaven and Hell comes out. I mean, Neon Nights, what a killer freaking tune! Plus, not only a great tune, but Queensryche covered it.
Oh, really?
Yep. If you've never heard it, Queensryche came out with an album. We didn't do it when we did our crossover with Queensryche because it was a covers album.
Right.
It was not a actual album, you know, but it's of original material. It was just called Queensryche Covers. So if you get a chance, check it out. Neon Nights is on that album, and it's freaking amazing, man.
All right.
Yep. So what a great opener. What a way to come back from Ozzy. And I think what a way for Sabbath to kind of come back as a more mainstream metal band.
Yeah.
To me, that's my opinion.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's very even keel and upbeat. And an upbeat intro of Ronnie into Sabbath. Very different guitar sound than previous albums.
Right. Punch in the face type of sound.
Technology is advancing.
Right.
Better pickups, different gear, you know.
Yep. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and, you know, now people, you know, Martin Birch has done now 10, probably 11 heavy rock albums, so he knows the landscape now.
Tony Iommi got some new fingertips, maybe.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
yeah, he got the bronze.
You got the bronze.
See, I always thought that he blew it. He should have like been a slide player.
Right.
Like had some like cool. That's what I would have done. I would have done something like that. Yeah. Very different guitar sound than previous albums. Even though Ozzy was working on this for 11 months, the sound was changing anyway.
It was.
You know, so Ronnie just took charge with the new energy and more vocally fitting to me than Ozzy was for the band.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, Ozzy's not the best singer.
No, not by far.
Great performer.
Great performer. I think I think he became popular more from his
antics
and, you know, the whole 9 yards. Looking back now,
he was our Jim Morrison, but he lived.
Right.
You know. Yeah. Children of the Sea, I have one word. Meh.
Yeah, Children of the Sea, I put good tune, but wasn't like my favorite.
Yeah. Okay. Lady Evil. Totally different intro. They're picking up a groove to serve Ronnie's soulful voice.
Right.
Solid
I think it was a good tune.
Yeah, solid riffs, but very out of time. but very of the time. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lady Evil is one of my favorite songs on this album.
Yeah, it's a good tune.
Heaven and Hell, of course. I mean,
it's a standout for me. Great tune.
Yeah, and the song Ozzy wishes he had sung.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously became a classic, right?
Right, and there's one major difference. Oh no, this is not yet. Okay, sorry.
Oh.
Heaven and Hell,
Wishing Well.
Ronnie, yeah, this is the song that Ozzy wishes he had sung but didn't. Ronnie owns it and is the connective tissue between both singers, in my opinion, is this song.
Heaven and Hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it kind of melds both of the
right.
A great song and well written, great vocal performance. Notes Ronnie never revisited. There's 2 notes that he sings on this song that I've never heard in another DIO album. Great summer tune.
Yeah.
Wishing Well, bass line is on fire. Rainbow in the lyrics. Yeesh.
Yes.
Die Young, speed driven, of course. Sabbath is trying to grow beyond what's expected here.
Yeah, it's a cool song. Yeah. I have cool song. That's it.
The canvas has expanded in ways they didn't expect, it seems. They were surprised.
Album was like that, yeah.
Wow, you know.
Right.
Walk Away, a little bit of Ace Frehley feel in the opening riff, and even a Gene feel from Kiss on Geezer's bass line on this. Interesting. Yeah. So they're probably all like hanging out listening
to Kiss. Sure. Kind of a filler though for me. I didn't do anything for me this time. Yeah.
Lonely is the word. Torn between both styles of Sabbath here. Riff almost seems mechanical. Ronnie's vocals might be the best on the album. Stellar performance vocally, but the song is average.
Yeah, it's a good song, but very soulful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. All in all, what's your favorites on this one?
Lady Evil's number 2 and Heaven and Hell's number 1.
Okay. Yeah, I love Neon Lights, Lady Evil, and Heaven and Hell. Those are my favorites. Again, like I said, not a huge Sabbath fan, but when I would hate to say it, maybe besides War Pigs, when someone says Sabbath, I think Heaven and Hell. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's where my mind goes to. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I think it was a good comeback after getting rid of Ozzy. And Dio really was starting to show his metal. I mean, he was in Rainbow, but this really, I think, started taking him to the right direction where I'll know him.
Right. And then Bill Ward leaves the band. And Vinny Appice comes on the scene with oops, wrong
one. The Mob Rules.
Right.
Which is what a foreshadowing of today's times.
Well, yeah.
Let's not get political.
That's actually from CNN's homepage.
Yeah, the Mob Rules.
Yeah, so Vinny Appice comes on the scene and turns everything on its head.
Yeah.
I'll say it right now. I think Vinny Appice is the best fucking heavy metal drummer in the 80s, hands down. No one can beat him. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And reason why, all the drummers I like, John Bonham, even though I'm not a big fan of Zeppelin, heavy foot. Tommy Lee, heavy foot.
Yep.
And Vinny, his drum rolls are great. The way he plays the bell, the hi-hat. No one sounds like him when he plays. And there's a lot of great drummers, but to me, if someone goes, who's the best metal drummer, it's Vinny Appice.
Yeah, he's amazing. And I've seen him live lately a lot because the connective tissue here is that they're doing Last in Line, that band.
Right.
Yeah, which actually they came out with a new album. I can't wait.
Do you know who he was playing with before this?
Oh, no, I don't.
John Lennon.
No kidding. Wow.
Vinny's band. John Lennon, he was doing a gig. John ran into him. He needed a backing band, and they were it.
Huh.
And Yeah, had John not been assassinated,
Sure,
who
who
we
knows
would
what
have
would have
gotten
happened.
from.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Wow. Pretty interesting there.
Right.
Blow your mind. But instead, we get one more Black Sabbath album.
Right, exactly. But yeah, Turn Up the Night, first song. Music is lighter right off the bat. The Sabbath muddiness is gone.
Yeah, I think it's a
Okay,
great
tune.
opening riff, though.
Yeah, very crisp.
Mhm.
Voodoo almost has a Jesus Left Chicago vibe
Yeah,
as the song starts out. Ronnie is really dialing in his Ronnieisms and phrasing again.
right.
Guitar solo even has some Eddie Van Halen mannerisms in it as well. I was
Mhm.
kind of surprised by that.
I don't know if you can. No, you're not going to see it. I put Eddie Van Halen. Whatever. That's what I thought. That's amazing, dude. But I mean, look at we listen to so much music. So
Right.
so I put cool riff but repetitive. The sign of the Southern Cross.
Yeah.
E5150. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. I mean, so yeah, I definitely see the Van Halen in that.
Yeah, the sign of the Southern Cross. Ronnie works on his storytelling here.
Yeah.
This sounds like updated Sabbath, which is good, which is what they're going for.
Yep.
Learning that Ronnie up against the drum beat with subtle bass is a powerful tool for the sound. When the guitar just mutes,
Yeah.
and it's Ronnie out there singing on the shelf, and he's got that hunt. He's Dio for Christ.
He's Dio for Christ's sakes.
E5150. I wrote, "There is a reason people do drugs." This is a fine example of that.
Fine example, man. I'm just like,
There's a reason why people do drugs.
I just can't. I couldn't figure that one out.
Yeah, well, that was the time of the instrumentals.
Yeah.
I get the guitar player.
Yeah.
Most of the guitar players at that time are all, have been doing lines for 12 hours. It's 4 a.m. and roll tape.
Right. Which I don't understand. I mean, as a guitar player, it's like you want to play for the song, you want the album, whatever. But
right.
I mean, there's been some good, and I don't know, some amazing, instrumentals. But dude, if you're not doing a Mr. Scary or Eruption, just please walk away.
Right. One of the greatest heavy metal songs of all time, "The Mob Rules."
Mob Rules. Cool riff.
Great song, dude. Magic happened. You couldn't make this song any better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you criticize this song? I mean,
No, I mean, you really can't.
Great tune, anthem that cemented Dio's rise to a solo career.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, I don't need to
This is it for him.
Yeah. A piece also cements his contribution to rock and roll. Yeah, right here. No one could play the bell of a ride cymbal like Vinny Appice. Country Girl. China cymbals enter the scene. Geezer has a badass bass line. That's all I have.
I just put not the best tune. I just wasn't really happy with this one. It's not the best tune, man. And I know there's, like I said, albums are going to have stinkers. You're not going to really get the best on everything, but I just, as we're going, I mean, I'm looking at this as, okay, this is your second outing as Sabbath with Dio.
Right.
Give me something, man.
And their seventh album all around.
Right. So I wasn't digging where we were going here. Like I said, Mob Rules, cool riff, great song, but they're starting to lose me with a couple things like E5150, with Voodoo. I don't know. Where are we at? Slipping Away?
Yeah.
Cool groove, boring song.
Yeah, it says here, feels more like a Rainbow or Aerosmith song.
Yes.
Solid riff, but rhythm section tastes a lot better on this album.
Yeah.
Much needed drum rolls that would become a signature of the Dio sound are appearing.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Background vocals are again hair-like and seems out of place, but not quite. Sloppy solo. But I did like the back and the call and recall between the bass and the guitar. That was I actually like that, which is far more interesting to me than a proper solo.
Yeah.
That's
like I said, it gave the song a cool groove. Cool groove.
And then Falling Off the Edge of the World reinforces Ronnie's command of an audience. As you can imagine, this live spotlit as everyone else is bathed in red. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tape slowdown is a cool effect. Sound like the band is self-destructing just from the vibe of this song and telling you of its death.
Yeah. I thought it was okay. I mean, it got better as the song picked up.
Yeah.
But it wasn't my favorite.
Over and Over. Meh.
Yeah. Melancholy. I put melancholy opening. The song kind of drags for me, but I see what they were going for, but it did drag. And again, here we are. They closed the album with a dragging song.
Right.
Just, I don't get it.
Is that I mean, Sabbath cemented. Is that to sabotage the sing?
Who knows?
I
don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we're past that era.
Right. So Martin Birch is now no longer producing. Yeah. We got who produced the last one. Oh, Mob Rules was produced by Martin Birch again.
Okay.
So for some reason, Ronnie kept on working with him.
Yeah.
Then Holy Diver comes along. Right. Okay. That's this one.
Dude, I mean,
is that Herman or Henry?
I don't remember the guy's name, but Jesus. I mean, this is the trifecta that we're going into right now.
Yeah. Double plat. Yeah.
For me, man. I mean, and we're gonna keep, part 2 will come after this, but
right. But
right
these
now,
next these final 3 albums of part 1.
I salute you.
Dude. it very much reminds me of Rock and Roll All Over, Destroyer.
Yes.
And
yeah. Just like Van Halen, like the first 3 Van Halen albums. It's like,
yeah. Right. And on this album, they have one of the best 1-2 punches after Back in Black and You Shook Me All Night Long, which is one of the best 1-2, and then Zeppelin with but Stand Up and Shout and Holy Diver back to back.
I mean, how do you I don't know.
I mean, first off, Stand Up and Shout.
Yeah.
I remember buying this album or the tape and I was, going out to my, 1970 El Camino Alpine stereo, pile driver speakers, and just cranking it so loud I thought my ears were bleeding, dude.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, right from the get-go, Vinny Appice, of course, came with them. Right. They found a young 17-year-old guitar player from an Irish band and Vivian Campbell. And
favorite guitar players right here.
Vinny Appice, I was watching an interview he was doing about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And he was talking about when Ronnie left, when Ronnie basically fired Vivian, or Wendy did.
Yeah. Right.
And
who knows?
And Ronnie said to Vinny, he's like, how do you feel about it? He's like, And Ronnie's like, hey, man, everyone's replaceable. And he goes, no, Ronnie, you're wrong. Not everyone's replaceable.
What a dumb move.
That is my total belief. I wish he would have kept Vivian Campbell because I think we would have gotten some. I mean, what a loss. I mean, what a great.
Well, line. you look at what they're doing now with Last in Line, because this original lineup is doing Last in Line.
Right.
And these albums are amazing.
Right.
So it kind of harkens back. And then when you go see them live, they're playing all the hits off these 3 Dio albums.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. My notes right off the bat just say Holy Diver, just a great fucking album.
Yeah, I would say one of the best albums of the 80s, totally. Best hard rock album.
Oh, whatever you want to call it, man.
Because Queensryche's in a different thing. They're more you had Operation Mindcrime, this is a very important album.
Yeah.
As far as, metal. Yeah. Because it bridged a bunch of bands. It bridged Judas Priest, it bridged Iron Maiden, it bridged, like all these
Yeah. I don't know. Lightning struck in this time period. And that's why when people say, "Oh, you're stuck," no, I'm stuck listening to good music. So if you want to go and do what you got to do, go ahead. I listen to everything, but I always go back to this because this is some of the best music.
Right.
And like I said, now we just reviewed those other albums, Rainbow and Sabbath, and that led to this. I mean, that's what grew Dio, you know, and that's where I think Ronnie James Dio he had this vision, but couldn't accomplish it where he was, right?
Yeah, but think how many over those first 5 albums that we talked about. Think of how many classic and legendary tunes there are in those 5 albums. There's like 8 of them, and the rest aren't as good.
Right.
But you have those 8.
Yes.
I mean, most people would kill to have 1.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because you know, you can have a whole career off of one tune.
For one tune, yeah. Could buy a house. But anyway, Stand Up and Shout.
Opening songs on an album, period. Also, one of my favorite songs of all time.
Oh God, yeah.
Vivian is the sound of Dio.
Oh, yes, he is.
One of the best drum rolls ever. Songwriting is off the hook.
Yep.
Holy Diver, best sounding drummer on any heavy metal hard rock band. The sound is solid and a tight band to back it. Who doesn't know this bass line?
I can't.
You know what I mean?
Say.
Yeah.
Right.
It's, you know, Gypsy, solid offering.
Yeah.
You know, fully formed sound and with
right.
Very confident in the vocal like never before. And Ronnie goes full Dio.
Oh yeah. And the thing is this is just like other, like Van Halen. Like there's even a bad Dio song is a good song for other bands. It's a great song for other bands, but
that's top shelf booze.
A good tune. Caught in the Middle. Caught in the Middle is also a decent tune for me.
Yeah, I have a opening riff in indicative of the time. The higher register vocals notes from Dio are on full display. I obviously misspelled that. Something about the solo. Vivian seems underrated in my opinion.
Big time, dude.
And, yeah, he's in major bands, but I believe if he stayed with Dio, it would have been, like I said, a completely different story.
Totally different story.
You know, and he's great in Def Leppard. I've always liked wherever he goes, like when he's in Whiteside, I followed him wherever he goes, you know what I mean? Because people can say whatever they want. The Dio sound is Vivian Campbell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was 17.
17, dude. Unbelievable.
They just should have paid him. $500 a week, dude. He was making.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So also, if you listen, okay, so Stand Up and Shout. So this is Ronnie telling about like his previous 5 albums. He was, you know, he stood up and he shouted and he got out. He takes the dive. He feels like a gypsy because he doesn't have a home. He's caught in the middle. Don't Talk to Strangers is a Deep Purple reference. Straight Through the Heart.
Great
Invisible,
tune.
Rainbow in the Dark. That was his rainbow comment. He's
one of the greatest.
Shame on the Night, Shame on the Black Knight. So he was pretty, you know, the song titles are basically, it's a breakup album.
You know what Shame on the Night sounds like to me? And I have this note here, and I don't know if you saw this, but I saw it. I put a question, maybe a shot at Bark at the Moon with the howling in the intro.
Oh, yeah, because it did have a werewolf.
Yes.
Let's see. I have bass starts to haunt up front in this song. He has mastered his on the vowel vocals. Then we go Straight Through the Heart. Nice slutty drum roll and intro, sleazy guitar work. I love the breaks in this song, and a piece added added in ain't nothing like it. No. Even when the band mutes and he gets a count. You know, he's just one of my favorite drummers.
Yeah.
Invisible experimental track for the first minute, then right into storytelling. Nice grind into the music. Rainbow in the Dark. Waited till this song to bring out the keyboards, which was kind of interesting. Stay away from
one of the greatest songs, though.
Oh, for sure. Used opposite of Blackmore, the way they use the keys. One of the best songs from Dio. What a nice fuck you to his last band.
Yep. Yeah, I mean 100%.
And then Shame on the Night. But yeah, what a great. And here's the other thing too. Why are all these? And they had all these great songs, and all these albums so far have only had 8 or 9 tracks on them. One of them had 6.
Right. 6.
So to get 8, now we're at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like 12 incredible, legendary songs out of that's just mind blowing.
That's crazy. But what a phenomenal start of, I don't know if you want to call it Ronnie James Dio solo, or I just look at it as Dio the band, right?
Yeah, the Dio band,
right?
Yeah.
But what a great, I mean, that be one
and solely produced by Ronnie James Dio.
Awesome, most amazing, first albums. Even though again, Dio, he was in the music business for a long time, but this incarnation of this band, what an amazing first album.
How many all-star bands do we see that are supposed to be great, and you see their video and you're like, oh,
right,
like why would you put this out?
Yeah. So this was
I've seen a few, dude, in the last year. I'm like, holy shit, what are you doing?
Yep. Yep.
But hey,
so moving along.
What do you want for nothing? Rubber biscuit. Okay, The Last in Line, also produced by Ronnie James Dio. Oh, the last album, by the way, Holy Diver, went double platinum.
Platinum, there you go.
US platinum, UK silver for The Last in Line. Okay. See the Red? Those are all great songs.
Yeah, there you go.
I couldn't even take notes. I was rocking out too hard.
Oh, dude. So for the very first one, you want to know what my notes say for We Rock? It just says, bruh. With 3 exclamation. Like, how do you not? What another amazing opener. I mean, I got nothing else to say, but bro.
And I thought the other one was the best 1-2 punch. It's not. This is We Rock and The Last in Line.
Same. I put same for Last in Line, bro.
We Rock, another classic of all time and a favorite of mine. One of the most badass bass lines. Great backing. And guess why it's one of the best bass lines? What did he write No, in the first album, he wrote all the bass lines to you. Great backing vocals in this. Yep. No one played as bombastic and crisp as Vinny.
His guitar work and just those first 2 songs.
Yeah.
Man.
The Last in Line, best 1-2 punch since Back in Black. Breathless. I spaced out and was rocking.
It was a good tune. I like it.
Speed at Night, same.
Yep. In your face,
One Night in the City, a remnant of Rainbow vibe here, kind of. And almost, what I caught in there is Hot Child in the City.
I did, and I put Poor Johnny and Sally. Because it didn't sound like it was going too good for them guys in that song.
In the city.
Yep.
Evil Eyes,
good
solid
tune.
rocker.
Yep.
Thumping bass with Ronnie singing across the entire band, a great summer song.
Yeah.
Dio will always mean summer.
Yeah.
Van Halen, Dio,
yeah,
and Priest is summer music to me.
Yeah.
Deep Purple is freezing your ass off in the winter, along with Zeppelin and the other. Evil Eyes, Mystery,
good song, good melody on this one.
Yeah, Eat Your Heart Out, almost a Cat Scratch Fever riff there.
Yeah, very heavy riff on that one.
Egypt, The Chains Are On. I love this guitar work in caps.
Yeah,
but what's interesting, he returns to the chunk.
Yeah.
But he's playing Holy Diver. He's playing Holy Diver in reverse. Go listen to the song again.
I will. And it's a good song.
Oh, right. It was like
like
ending a.
Yeah. It's just one of the weakest ones on the album for me, but it's still a good
Should
song.
have gone on the previous album.
Yeah, probably.
And then it would have made sense closing out Holy Diver.
Yeah.
And then we come to the sad album.
The Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart.
Still a great
Gold, 1985, produced by Ronnie James Dio. King of Rock and Roll. Solid rocker, a tight controlled song with great background vocals, great riffs, and outstanding drums.
Ditto.
Sacred Heart, the Dio crawl is back.
Yeah.
June.
Sacred Heart, man, it's got that. I coined this at a band practice one time because we were writing some songs, and I'm like, back kind of explain held power. Like the song, it's right there, ready, but it's like the power is there, and you feel like it's like, you know, and it just got this groove where you just want to smash it.
Yeah, I call it the Dio crawl.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Because it's just on the edge.
Yeah, it's just right there.
And he's got you in his hand, and then you know you're waiting for the the guitar to
yeah.
Another Lie.
Good tune.
Has a Deep Purple vibe going though.
Does.
Songs are starting to formulate without a hook.
Yeah.
They're like getting lost. I Sense Trouble.
Yeah.
Still a solid song for anyone else.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Children. Not a fan.
I like the song. It's a very more pop than metal, pop rock, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I thought
the video was kind of stupid.
80s service being applied heavy and not in a good way. Just
but I dug the song.
Right on. Then we have Hungry for Heaven.
Hungry for Heaven.
Which I don't get.
It's still more pop, I guess, but
they're playing Out Here in the Streets by The Who.
Yeah.
Literally, they're playing The Who.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't know. I like the song.
Yeah. Like The Beat of a Heart, I'm starting to lose interest.
Really? I dug that.
Yeah. Just Another Day. Was this album phoned in?
Yeah, Just Another Day was not the greatest.
Yeah, it says weak song for Dio and Company.
Yeah.
Fallen Angels, my 3 words were, what was that?
Yeah.
And you have to, like, this band is on one of my top favorite,
sure.
This was breaking my heart that they were crumbling,
Yeah.
Shoot, call it a day already.
I like Shoot. I thought it was a good way to close the album.
They should have taken a 2-year break rather than record an album.
Yeah.
That was my
I mean, there was trouble going on. To me, I loved Sacred Heart, as an album. I mean, there was a couple of little stinkers in there.
First half, the second half loses me.
Yeah. But again, to me, it's the holy trinity of Dio, these 3 albums. I literally went back now in closing on all of this. I did go back and listen to these 3 at least 2 or 3 times just for the fun of it, which means I never, ever got Dio fatigue.
Yeah, I didn't get Dio fatigue either.
Never. I did not go, I got to stop listening to this shit. I never, not once. When I got to these albums, I couldn't wait to go back and listen to it again. Like, I was just jamming to them. I'm like in my car on the way home from work. I'm like, I got to listen to it again because it took me back, man. I mean, all those 3 albums just took me back to my childhood when I used to crank those and I had the cassettes. You know what I mean?
Well, Dio's a singer like Rob Halford, not in style, but as far as you don't get tired of hearing him sing, it's not grating ever.
No.
Even in a bad song or not the best song, he's still firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never Ronnie. Put it that way.
Right. And in the middle of all this, we will come back with part 2, but in the middle of all this, we had the heavy metal We Are the World when they came out, right? Yeah, Hearing Aid. I mean, you can't, that song right there. I mean, holy shit, dude. did he really kind of bring that all together? And a lot of it was Vivian Campbell who did that too. If you know the story behind that.
Not the whole one.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. I for next time we'll open it with it. You know, because I have to do like my research on it and remember I wasn't prepped and prepared. But I know that Vinny had a lot to do with it. Obviously Dio also did too, but Vinny had a lot to do with writing the song and that kind of thing too. So the music. But yeah, we'll open with that next time. But I mean, what up until this point, what a career, you know. The Ronnie James Dio, man.
For sure. And sometimes working with family is good and sometimes it's bad. And
Right.
A lot of people will talk bad about this person's wife or that person's wife because they're managing or whatever.
Yeah.
But a manager's got a job to do at the same time.
Right.
But when it's a spouse or a family member of someone else in the band,
then it gets crazy. I know.
You know
That's just I've been in a band before where a girlfriend or a wife was managing, and I'm just like, I'm not. I can't get involved in that because it just turns into drama, and there's always too much drama.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, Ronnie James' legacy goes on.
Yep.
He's everywhere. He even look at that. Every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, can check out Tunage as everyone pays tribute to Mr. Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah, and not you, Mr.
Gene Simmons.
You didn't come up with this. This was the Italian. Yeah, Gene Simmons does the love.
Yeah, he does that on
love. Yeah, whatever. But
yeah, this is the Malak, right? Or
this is Il Milocchio. It's Italian.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Il Milocchio. And we basically do that to ward off the evil eye. So Ronnie was on stage, right? And he made sure he would ward off the evil eye, exactly, and throw up the horns. And everybody was like, that's cool. And just started throwing horns right back up to him.
Yeah.
So that's what was invented.
And he got it
from his grandma out there doing.
Yeah, he got it from his grandma.
He got it from his from his nonna. Yeah. When I remember walking around in Italy, man, right across the street, get away from me, man. That's what it is, just keeping the evil eye away, so hey, man, awesome as always.
Absolutely.
We will be back next month with Dio Part 2.
All right, everybody, nice seeing you. Pat, buddy, love you, brother.
Love you, man.
And we'll see you guys later. Go out and listen to Dio. Go out and buy some Dio.
That's it. Go listen to Dio. I believe that's it.